Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new standards of excellence.
Yes.
Say yes to engaging reportage with a difference.
Yes.
Introducing Yes International Magazine. The time to say yes to your dreams and aspirations is here.
Now, you rose at some point to lead the Association of Movie Producers, AMP. What would you say was your greatest achievement in office?
It's always very difficult for one to begin to talk about his achievements. All I know is that when I came to Nollywood, it was a confluence of the good, the bad, the ugly, all of them coming together in a rendezvous of hope. After living in bondage, a whole lot of people, all of us working, trying to do things, attending young people doing some little things, we thought that there was something here. So we all took a plunge without doing the promises. It was a risk. And then sprang up. Then our brothers from the east, the Onitsha axis, all of them started throwing money in, and the picture changed. And within a short time, you have over 1,000 people coming together to make films. From 5, 10 films in a week, 50 films were coming out in a week. But there was no structure. There was no control, no regulation. Everything came in a staccato form. Everybody was doing whatever he could. There was no transparency in the marketing. It was a voodoo market. Whatever you hear is what you take. There was no way to monitor. So we began to think. That was how the associations came and all that. When they called me, first there was Guild of Movie Producers, championed by later Maka Igwe, Mahmoud Ali Balogu, and a couple of others, and I was there. I was elected president. And Zebejiro was, at that point, president of the Association of Movie Producers. But we thought it was important for all of us to come together, to have one industry and to have one voice. So the Guild of Movie Producers and the Association of Movie Producers merged. And Zebejiro graciously stepped down for me to become president. So I did a little, what I did was just put paperwork together, trying to, make us one, coherent group. After that, election held, and I handed over to Madu Chikwendo. And I thought that the cop had passed away. But alas, a few years later, about 8 years ago, when I was already busy doing other things, I was called back. They wanted me to contest. I said, I cannot contest. I don't have the energy. But they did, and I became the president of the Association of Movie Producers. What I tried to do when I came back a second time, there were two things. To get a befitting office where people from everywhere could come to us and look at us with a lot of respect. Because I was also growing in my career in the things I chose to do. So it was very important to have a befitting office. So we had to get that. Then get an executive that can come together and think properly and put things together. Show that to rebrand AMP as it was. So that where we attend meetings, people come and they say, who were these people? I recall when we went to see the then governor of Lagos State, Mr. Fashola. Yes, when we went to see him. When I finished introducing my guests, he told them that left to him that this your president should be at the Nigerian Senate. Because by our appearance, by the quality of people that came, he was very impressed. So my executive rebranded AMP, and we got serious. The second thing we wanted to do was to make an international statement about what we were doing. For this reason, we decided to celebrate Nollywood at 20. And to do this, we formed a partnership with the DSTV Africa Magic. And we did about 70 documentaries, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute, on all the stars in Nollywood. And DSTV graciously in a rare commitment, played our documentaries 20-25 times every day for over 2 months. And so we got people coming from Oxford, from Georgia Tech, from Harvard, from all over the world, from the diplomatic corps, from the political class, the organized private sector. We have made a statement that Nollywood has become a serious business. So those are some of the things we try to do to take our industry forward. And it was very important for us also to train our members. And in the course of that period too.
All right. So, considering all you have enumerated and all you've done in Nollywood and everything, how would you sum up your incursion into Nollywood so far? How would you sum up the journey so far in Nollywood?
It's a dizzying walk through a creative block. A dizzying walk through a creative block. Because when I left everything I did, I was doing to join Nollywood. From 1996 to 2003, 7 years. Millions and millions and millions of money had passed through my office. But I had to sit back at some point to ask myself, how much are you holding of this money? How much is your company's money? At some point, it was a struggle to pay my child. I had just a son. A struggle to pay his fees in St. Saviour's. And I remember I used to go to see the woman in charge of the school. I said, hey, listen, if you guys send people's children out of school, don't send out my child. I'm not a poor man. I just don't have cash at this moment. When I got money, I come and pay. You know, she looked at me. I'm sure she felt that this guy was not your regular Nigerian. And so when there were issues about all that, he left my son because I told him I wasn't poor. And when I come to pay, even when he was in the school before that, after paying, I was okay. What can I do for you guys? I got plenty of money. I got some money. I can do something. So they knew me differently. And I remember about 10 years later, my son was already at White Sands. She saw me coming out of a pharmacy. I was coming out from my X6. I just bought it then. So I stepped out of the back. And she saw me. She was with her husband. She said, oh, Mr. Okafor, you made it. Mr. Zik Zulu, you made it. I said, made what? He said, you told the husband, this is the guy I was talking to you about. He used to tell me, don't send my child away, that I'm not poor, I'm going to have money. So she saw me, he said, so you made it. I said, well, God has been kind. I have transited from where I used to beg to pay my son's fee to where I can confidently pay it. So Nollywood was a brutish challenge for me. I was used to having money to spend at any time, be able to take care of my basic needs. The first 5 years of Nollywood was experiences that pricked my soul. Idumota was a block I couldn't unravel. Onitsha was a hazy picture I couldn't read. But above all, I am used to probity and accountability. I am used to saying that I have an untrammeled integrity, and I look for people who are, yes, he said their no is no. But in Nollywood, it's very fluid. It's a market you cannot decode. So things really went down for me. But you see, I've got to thank God that, yes, it was challenging, but Nollywood also threw me up a bit. And that through the stepping stone it was, I've been able to match to a few things. And I could look back and say, thank you, God. It worked for me.
Interesting. Now, you had a fantastic soap that ran on television for some time. That's talking about Heaven's Gate.
Yes.
Tell us about it and why it stopped running.
Yeah, Heaven's Gate was a production of City of David. Then Pastor Esco, who was the person in charge of City of David, wanted to do Escom Fund, yes, Pastor Esco, of blessed memory. He wanted to use drama to preach the gospel in a very subtle way. And they had called me to cover one event they did at the National Stadium. It was my low time in Nollywood, and I was looking at actually changing my direction. I said I wasn't going to make any film anymore until I found my bearing. So when he invited me over, I remember that night because the night before that, I had sat at my dining about 1 a.m. in the morning, weighing my journey in Nollywood. And I felt that Nollywood had not given me a fair shake of the dice. And I thought it was time to turn away a bit to find my bearing. And so the next day they called me. I came to cover the event, just did it and sent to them. I was disinterested, in things about motion picture. But after editing and sending it to the man asked them to call the guy that did this. I wanted to see me. So when he saw me, he said, ask him what I was doing. He felt that what I covered for them was different. The style I presented it was different. That was how he asked me if I could do a series for them, and I said yes. And so the story of Nollywood, it was a story told by God, not me, because I wanted to tell the story starting with the life of Reverend Chris Okotie, which he had told me while I was starting my journalism. I had interviewed him, and I got close to him, and I said, I will use this guy's story to start. But it didn't work. But one day, just about midnight or late, something just woke me up, and I heard his voice. And it was like I was in a trance. And by the time I woke up in the morning, the story of Heaven's Gate was told. I sat down, and for about 48 hours, I wrote the outline for the story. And Heaven's Gate came. And when it came on air, the reaction, generals writing, people giving their life, letters that, that moved people. And when I understand this, we ever struggled to come on air when we started, because it was a Christian program. Then Econet and MTN were just coming the first time. They said they couldn't sponsor us because it had flavors of Christianity. But when Heaven's Gate hit the air, and Nigeria started running home toward the program, MTN, Econet, all of them say call him back. They want to advertise. The Pastor Escort told them, no, you rejected God's story. God has provided the money, therefore you are not going to advertise on my program. And he started But Heaven's Gate ended after about 8 years. Pastor Idowu Amadi took over, and he inspired the sequel to Heaven's Gate, which is Oasis. Oasis was also incredible, and Pastor ID, as we call him, gave us total backing. He is a man of incredible taste and ambition. He's a man that he wants you to do anything, you do it with the spirit of excellence. So we followed with Oasis. Oasis is still running, is the third phase, but we're also looking at making the movie of Oasis. So Heaven's Gate is finished, Oasis is still running and is still on.
Interesting.